Hi, it's Wednesday. That means it's time for another video edition of Widower Wednesday. I'm Abel Keogh, author of the book Dating a Widower, and today we're going to discuss widowers and social media and how to set healthy boundaries when it comes to the widower's social media usage, especially if he's posting things about the late wife or his social media usage is looking towards the past and interfering with your relationship. So let's get started. Now, the first most important thing you need to know about social media is that it is the gateway to the soul. If you want to know what someone really thinks, values, and believes, just look through their social media account, and within minutes, you'll discover the causes they champion, the people they love, and what's really in their heart. And the thing is, when it comes to widowers, seeing what photos they post and stories they share can give you incredible insight into how far they are in their grief journey and whether or not they're ready to open their heart. So, let's get going. We're going to talk here about the 5 most common problems that it comes with widowers and social media. And if you're dating a widower, you know that a lot of these social media things are kind of unique to widower relationships. So probably by far and away the most common question or concern I deal with when it comes to social media is whether or not widowers should remember their late wife on social media. So, should they go out there and should they post that, hey, it's been whatever 3 years since you've died, I miss you, I love you, or today would have been our 20th wedding anniversary. Are those appropriate posts? And the short answer of that is no. They should not be posting that if they're in a serious relationship. If widowers are in an exclusive or committed relationship, they should not be posting things about the past. That's a pretty hard line. If they are posting anything about love or relationships on social media, it should be about their current relationship and memories they're making now, not of good times or recollections about the past. If you are in a relationship with the widower and he's posting memories, about the late wife or whatever on social media, you need to ask him to stop. This is a healthy but firm boundary you have got to set. It'll help protect your sanity and it'll strengthen your relationship, assuming the widower is actually able to go out there and do that. Now, I know that some of you have watched my videos or read my books, and you know that I do support the occasional the occasional cemetery visit or maybe the occasional get together with friends or family to remember the late wife. And you're thinking here, well, if you support the widower doing that, how come you don't support him posting on social media? And really, it comes down to the nature of social media. Now, if you want to do the occasional, again, a gravesite visit, or you want to do an occasional thing with family and friends to remember the late wife, again, you want to do it once or twice a year, I don't see a big issue with that. Because those really seem to be more personal and sincere expressions of grief. You're not really doing it for a public show. You're just kind of there with people, and maybe talking about the good times, or you could even be by yourself off at the cemetery. And if these events are done right, like doing the occasional cemetery visit, it can actually be a really healthy and good way for widowers to say goodbye to their late wife and kind of put that space out there. Social media doesn't work that way, right? When you post something on social media, you're doing it for the hits. You're doing it, you're doing it to see how many likes you can get and how many comments you can get. And again, that might be, I'm not posting this, I'm posting this because I really want to remember the late wife, and that may be a reason. But again, social media is fueled by dopamine hits that come from it. So when widowers go out there and they're posting, hey, today would have been me and the late wife's 10th wedding anniversary, or today, it's been 3 years since she's been gone. What happens is they post these photos, they post these memories, and they get a lot of likes and they get a lot of comments. And the subtle effect of those likes and comments are that they're telling the widower to live in the past, right? I mean, he posts a photo and there's 100 likes and 50 comments about the late wife. It's subtly encouraging the widower that this is what people find important. This is what's valuable, and so he shouldn't be posting this. Really, I mean, again, it's the dopamine hits in social media of getting that message shared and getting that message out there. And I guess to be fair to widowers, I don't believe that a lot of them do it with the intent of living in the past. And those who comment and post on it, again, I don't think their intent is, oh, if I like this, the widower is going to live in the past. I think they're just trying to be supportive but they don't realize it has the opposite effect. And honestly, no relationship can survive when both parties, one or both parties, are talking publicly about how much they miss a past love. I mean, think about it. If a single or divorced man was on social media saying that he missed an ex-girlfriend or he wished he and his ex-wife were back together, I mean, you'd realize pretty quick that guy wasn't ready for a relationship. Most people would see that and say, you're still kind of living in the past there. I don't know if you should be dating or in a serious relationship. But, of course, with widowers, a different standard's applied, right? That widowers can basically do anything, and people love it and accept it because he's lost a spouse, which sucks. But again, no excuse for bad behavior. So yeah, again, if the widower is posting on social media about the late wife, he shouldn't be doing it. If he's in a serious or exclusive relationship with you, you need to talk to him about it. Keep in mind, he may not realize how much these posts hurt you. He may be doing it because he thinks people expect him to do it, or that's what people are supposed to do. And again, if he wants to, find some way to do it, there's healthier ways to do it. There's better ways to do it. I have different videos on that, but social media is not the way to do it. All right, second issue I want to talk about is how to handle social media torchbearers. Now, I actually have completed a video. I think I posted it last year. It's called The Best Way to Handle Torchbearers, and it goes into a lot more detail on this. So I encourage you, if this is an issue in your relationship with other people memorializing the late wife, please watch it. It goes into more detail. But in a nutshell, the issue is the late wife has friends or family, or maybe even someone in the widower's family keeps posting about the late wife and tagging the widower. And so, of course, the widower may not be a big social media user, or he may not be on a social media platform a lot, but you're on it, and because your friends are somehow connected to him. If someone tags him that, hey, here's a picture of the widower and his late wife, right? They tag him in it, you see it as well. And let's be honest, there are people out there that, that do it with the intent to kind of sabotage the widower in his current relationship. They don't like seeing the widower happy, so they just, they don't think he should be dating again, so they kind of go out there and they want to do everything they can to remember the late wife. So these people are called torchbearers, and they keep the memory of the late wife alive at all costs. If you find out the torchbearers are ruining your social media experience, the good news is the solution is very simple. Take control of your social media feed. You have the power to unfollow, block, or unfriend those who are constantly posting about the late wife. And it's not just you. The widower has the ability that maybe he doesn't want to unfriend him or something, but he does have the ability, and I believe it's true across most social media platforms, that people can't tag you unless you allow them to tag you. So if he's on Facebook or something and whatever, there's someone in the late wife's family that keeps posting about social media and tagging him in photos, well, there's a setting that he can go in there and say, people can't tag me unless I approve it, right? Things like that. So, I always say that you can't control the thoughts or actions of others, but the one good thing about social media is you can control the feed. So, go in there. If you have to unfollow, unfriend, or block somebody, go ahead and do it. And again, if the widower, if it's causing problems, or the widower doesn't know what to do, the solution for him is pretty simple too. He also has those options about at least, unfollowing people, or, unfriending them if he wants, but he can also go in there and just set up his settings that hey, you can't tag me. And if he says, I don't know how to set up these settings, then you can sit down with him and figure it out. But honestly, again, one of the few things I like about social media is that you really can control your feed. I mean, I've done it. I've unfollowed, blocked people for various reasons, right? Not all related to late wife, but some people are just jerks on social media because they just are. And I don't want that clogging up my feed when I do go on social media. So take control of your social media account. Don't let the thoughts and habits and feelings of others come between you and the widower. You have control over social media. The widower has control over social media. Take control of your feed and get that done. The third thing that comes up on occasion is whether or not the widower should delete photos of the late wife. So most social media platforms, as you know, they keep a history of the person's, of the photos and stories they've shared. And so if you're dating a widower, oftentimes there's, years and years and years worth of photos and memories on the widower's social media feed. And sometimes I get the question, well, should they be deleted? I'm uncomfortable that they're there. Should they be deleted? And the answer is no. There's one exception to this, but the answer is don't delete them. Everybody has a past, and asking the widower to delete a bunch of pictures is basically asking him to erase the erase his past. I only think that these photos and memories should be deleted if the widower spends a lot of time looking on them or sharing them or something like that. Then it's a problem and it's a red flag. But if the widower, if they're just there, they're just there. Now, it's been my experience in talking to people through coaching sessions or through email or whatever, is that usually when it comes to the late wife's social, or the late wife's, when it comes to the widowers, all these photos, usually it's not the widower spending a lot of time looking at these photos. Usually it's his girlfriend who's spending the time going through them, and she feels like she can't, live up to the late wife, and it's her that feels uncomfortable. So, again, if you're familiar with my videos, I always tell widowers that they need to live in the present and focus on the future with the person they're with. And this also applies to women dating widowers. You need to live in the present and focus on the future. So don't spend a lot of time going through the widower's social media feed looking at pictures of him and the late wife. I understand there's a curiosity factor there, and maybe you're trying to better understand the widower and maybe the kind of relationship he had with the late wife. But usually all it results in is just problems. So I encourage you not to do it. Just keep in mind that you and the late wife, you're not in a competition here. She's dead. She's not coming back. And the widower has chosen to start a new chapter of his life with you. So, instead of looking at the past photos and memories that he's posted, I strongly encourage you to go out there and make new memories that you and the widower can share on social media with others, and they can see how happy he is and how happy you are. So just leave the past where it belongs. And again, those should only be deleted if the widower has an issue with it, and whatever, he's looking at photos and sharing memories and stuff like that. That's not good. That's not healthy. In that case, they need to go. Otherwise, just let it be and focus on the present and the future and make new memories with them. The fourth issue comes up is what should be done with the late wife's social media account. Sometimes it's still active and the widowers may be managing it, or a family member should be managing it. The solution to this problem is really simple. The late wife's social media account should be memorialized if that's an option, or deactivated. I don't know if it's deactivated where no one can post on them anymore, but it's still there. So memorialized, deactivated, or deleted. And really, I only encourage deletion if it's really a serious issue of other people kind of taking control of the account, or the widower doesn't want to give up control for some reason. But honestly, she's dead. She's not going to use social media. No one should be posting anything there or sharing anything there. If people again want to leave it up as a memory, that's fine. But I mean, it should be in some sort of memorialized state where people can't really interact with it. Maybe they can look at it if they want, or just get rid of it. But honestly, the widower shouldn't be managing it, because what is there to manage? I mean, there's nothing to manage. She's dead. No one should be posting on it or anything. Put it in some kind of inactive state. But again, if the widower has an issue where he keeps looking at it or managing it, that's not good. Maybe in that case, the social media account needs to go. But again, the past needs to be left where it belongs. If the widower refuses to give up control of the social media account, that is a problem, because you'll always be in the late wife's shadow. So big red flag there. But again, memorialize it, inactivate it, or delete it, and just let it sit there and, I don't know, gather pixel dust or whatever it is that social media accounts do. A final concern I have is updating. When should a widower update his relationship status? So like some social media platforms like Facebook, they allow users to post, hey, whatever, I'm single, I'm married, I'm widowed, I'm in a relationship with so and so. What should widowers do? It's pretty simple. If you're in a serious committed relationship, that status should be updated. A lot of times I'll ask people will say, well, he's not updating his social media status, and I'll ask, well, why isn't he doing it? And it turns out just because he's not a big social media user. Okay, just nudge him a little bit, or I don't know, figure out a way to go ahead and do that. Or if he's not a big social media user, that's one thing. The bigger concern is if he doesn't want to update it because he's afraid what others will think. So whatever, his friends on social media, the late wife's family might see it, and he's worried about the thoughts and actions of others. If that's the reason he's not updating his relationship status, then that's a red flag, because the thoughts and actions of others should not be the ones deciding, if he's in a relationship or not. It's a red flag because if he's just, if he's worried about what people are going to think online, what is he going to think? What is the widower going to think about people in the real world? Is that his first thing? Is, oh my gosh, it's been 6 months since the late wife died, and I'm in a serious relationship. People are going to think it's too soon. Truth is, people, are probably going to think it's too soon, but again, you're in a serious relationship, just update the status. My gosh, people probably know anyway, and people are going to judge, and people are going to have their own opinions. But you've really got to decide what's more important: the thoughts and actions of the thoughts of other people, half of which, let's face it, if we're on social media, we really don't know that well, or is the person that's most important is your love. What's the most important there? But again, if the widower can't make you number one, if he's worried about the thoughts and feelings of others online, he's probably worried about the thoughts and feelings of others in real life, and that is a big red flag, because others will always control what he does. So, wrapping up, remember, social media has its uses. It's a great way to know what directions the widower's hearts are pointed. Hopefully it's pointed towards you. Again, set healthy boundaries when it comes to this. This not only applies to him, but for you. Again, remember, social media is a fun tool. It can be great, but it's also to cause a lot of stress, and it really shouldn't be. There are better things to do than look at social media. Go out there, make new memories, make memories that'll last a lifetime, because social media changes, its platforms changes, and it's something you need. Just go out there and live, and don't live in the fake social media world. Anyway, I'm Abel Keogh, author of the book Dating a Widower. Feel free to share this video, like, comment, and feel free as well to subscribe. If you want to share your social media experiences, do so down in the comments. And I will see you next Wednesday.